On the issue of the public finances of Gibraltar and the mockery the government has made of the annual debate, Daniel Feetham said the GSD had acted in the best interests of Gibraltar and was proud of the work the opposition had done. He said not voting for the budget was the right decision last year, and it's the right decision this year, and said if he had to take the same decision again knowing the political price he would pay, he wouldn't change a thing. He said the GSLP Liberals had systematically destroyed the ability of this parliament to properly analyse public finances. Mr. Feetham said the Financial Services Commission had been described as having a Taliban approach to enforcement and that he had never seen the profession so concerned with the regime. He said he was concerned the runaway train of enforcement could discourage future investment and make current licence holders reconsider their place here. Independent MP Marlene Hassan Naon questioned income inequality in Gibraltar, noting that GDP per capita is $110,000, roughly £85,000, whilst minimum wage was set at $14,000. Ms. Hassan Naon said supply workers and private sector pensioners were two badly neglected areas of our community and argued that our health system should not become a playground for privatization. The MP said despite her reservations, she would be voting in favour of the budget as she couldn't vote against funding essential services, and she accused the GSD of cynicism in this respect. Ms. Hassan Naon said there was a new wave of politics rising in the Western world. She said whilst our community was wonderfully diverse, Gibraltar's parliament was unrepresentative of people who aren't lawyers, white, male and financially comfortable. GSD MP Edwin Reyes said it breaks his heart to see local footballers having to go to Spain for training sessions. He said more local facilities are needed to help local teams go beyond the initial stages of European competitions, and suggested that the £6 million in premium paid to the government by the GFA should be invested wisely and put back into local footballing facilities. Mr. Reyes noted £2.1 million had been set aside for the MTV Festival this year, and observed that last year's expenditure was £3.5 million. He posed the question, how does the government plan to spend less this year? Lawrence Jamas lamented that, 6 years on, we're not as close to a digital citizenship as he would have liked. He said individuals and businesses are crying out for a holistic system under one roof, and by way of example, noted that a more modern approach to the GHA's appointment system could have been introduced than the telephone system. Mr. Yamas noted that the government had finally revealed that 90% of the last affordable housing projects were sold on a 50-50 basis, compared to 25% of the GSD affordable housing projects. Meanwhile, the Shadow Minister for the Environment used his budget speech to criticise Gibraltar's poor air quality, referring to data gathered by independent scientists. Trevor Hammond singled out the area around the new comprehensive schools, pointing out that no environmental impact assessment had yet been completed. He said poor quality vehicles on the roads were also to blame, and said the low take-up of cleaner options was due to a lack of government incentives.